Welcome back to the epic battles between Thor and Ares. Before we dive into the analysis, I just want to say that I thank you very much. Thor is known as Thor Odinson, the god bearing the noble bloodline of the Aesir and the son of Odin. In Norse mythology, Thor is not only the embodiment of thunder and storms, but also a symbol of strength, war, hallowing, and sacred reverence. He is honored as the ultimate champion of the Aesir gods and the leader of a mighty warrior clan where strength and honor are always prioritized. Thor is the son of Odin and Fjörgyn, while carrying complex blood ties with other gods. He is the half-brother of Tyr, Heimdall, and Balder, as well as the husband of Sif, the father of Magni, Modi, and Thrud, and the uncle of Forseti. These relationships not only establish the position of Thor in the divine realm, but also place upon his shoulders the responsibility to protect the order and authority of the Aesir against all hostile forces. The childhood of Thor was associated with violence, harsh discipline, and absolute submission to the will of Odin. From a young age, he was destined to become the inheritor of power and the enforcement arm of the supreme god. Hatred for the giants was sown into the mind of Thor as part of the cruel plan of Odin to forge and mold his son into a path of a pure warrior. The greatest tragedy arrived when his mother passed away, and that moment severed the last thread, holding Thor to his gentle roots. Thor learned to shoulder the pride of the god clan while hiding the silent wounds behind the image of the invincible god of thunder. It was the conflict between destiny and personal aspiration that made Thor a character both fierce. When handed Mjolnir by Odin, Thor officially stepped onto the path of legend and slaughter. Carrying half giant blood and half divine blood, he became a nightmare, spreading terror throughout the 9 realms. The reputation of Thor is tied to the uncompromising exterminations targeting the Jotnar clan, the race he was raised to hate to the very marrow. The power of Mjolnir not only amplified the physique of Thor, but also turned suppressed hatred into a storm of destruction, sweeping away all resistance on his path. That hatred reached its climax when the Aesir gods confronted Jormungandr in Midgard during a fateful battle. Thor knew well that his destiny was to destroy the world serpent during Ragnarok, but instead of glory, he only felt the growing burden of the prophecy. In that context, Thor reluctantly assumed the role of protecting Atreus. The alliance between them was full of tension, filled with suspicion and underground conflict, yet the god of thunder still fulfilled his duty coldly. At the same time, Thor was torn by cracks in his personal life. His blind loyalty to Odin was questioned by his own wife, and even his enemies. Lacking the courage to directly oppose the supreme god, Thor poured all his rage and helplessness onto Loki. That action inadvertently exposed the schemes of Odin to the enemy and pushed Kratos to the decision to trigger Ragnarok. Although Thor used his terrifying power to knock back Jormungandr, forcing the monster to return to the past, he still could not stop fate when the wall of Asgard was breached. In this confrontation, Thor no longer met an impulsive or reckless enemy, but a cautious warrior seasoned by experience and thoroughly prepared for a battle of life and death. Believing that Kratos was the cause of the war in Asgard and indirectly destroyed his family, the god of thunder poured all his fury and divine power into every strike. The hammer swing struck down like thunder explosions, carrying the fury accumulated over many years. However, all of that still could not break the cold combat discipline of the Spartan warrior. Kratos, with resilience and iron, will gradually neutralize Mjolnir and eventually subdued the power of the divine hammer with the durability and precision of the Leviathan axe. Despite being at a disadvantage, Thor still showed that his courage did not waver, and the sense of responsibility forged through countless battles made him continue to stand firm even when pushed to the limit. The physique of Thor is almost unparalleled in the divine realm, and when wearing the nameless belt of strength, his power is amplified to a frightening level. However, the object most tied to the reputation and identity of Thor is still Mjolnir, the hammer he rarely leaves, as if it is an extension of his own soul. In the belief of the ancient Scandinavians, Thor is the embodiment of thunder, while the lightning bolts tearing the sky are the marks of Mjolnir striking the world. When riding the goat chariot rushing through the air, every thunderclap is seen as a declaration of war by the god against the forces of giants and chaos. But Thor was so blinded by anger that he did not realize Kratos had learned a lesson from the previous encounter, and now the Spartan warrior used every weapon in his arsenal to weaken the god of thunder. As the battle continued and gradually turned against him, that very opposition made the battle a tragic milestone, where absolute power also had to submit to discipline and unbreakable will. Remember to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon and turn on notifications to watch the earliest videos. Thank you very much. Ares, the god of war, is the pure embodiment of conflict, ambition, and the insatiable thirst for power. In Greek mythology, he not only represents war, but is also the destructive instinct hidden deep within both gods and humans. Ares rarely directly builds or protects. Instead, he sows chaos by manipulating mortals, inciting hatred, and pushing them into a cycle of bloodshed to serve his will. Therefore, he often stands on the opposite side of heroes and becomes the sworn enemy of Wonder Woman. Ares is a terrifying entity, easily ranked among the most powerful individuals in the DC universe. He once destroyed Highfather Isaiah of the New Gods with incredible dominance, showing power far beyond the ordinary standards of deities. The supreme nature of Ares is affirmed when he is described as a god standing above every pantheon, superior to any other divine entity. The new gods, who are living concepts bearing primordial power and existing in a world of platonic archetypes, also could not escape his manipulation. The ambition of Ares once almost brought him to the peak of Olympus, where absolute power reigns. Only by the combined effort of all the Olympian gods was that conquest halted. That failure did not weaken Ares, but only made him more profound and dangerous. He learned patience, waiting for moments when war kindles to rise stronger than before. To Ares, war is not a means, but a reason for existence. Ares demonstrated his nature when he was completely unaffected by the gaze of Medusa, which was strong enough to cause serious harm and even blind Wonder Woman. This shows that the power of Ares lies not only in physique, but also in immunity to cursing and destructive abilities. Considering the power scale, he is ranked from level 2B to 2A, A tier, showing the ability to impact and dominate on a universal scale and even beyond the ordinary structures of reality. Although war has never been a celebrated value, Ares still embodies the uncompromising slayer who destroyed giants and titans with pure strength. Each time he fails carries meaning as a warning, reminding that blind violence is not always the correct solution. Yet when war becomes unavoidable, Ares is the blade deciding the outcome, the one who killed countless warriors, monsters, and even the son of Poseidon to punish the crime of raping his daughter. Here, war is no longer meaningless destruction, but becomes a tool of twisted yet weighty justice. Among the Olympian gods, Athena is the rare one who once caused Ares to suffer not by brute force, but by superior strategic intellect. This reflects the necessary balance between violence and reason in the divine order. In the Odyssey epic, Ares is described as an indispensable element to maintain the harmony of the world, because conflict and antagonism are also forces driving evolutionary order. Overall, the power of Ares is on par with most second-generation gods like Hermes, Apollo, Artemis, or Dionysus, except for Athena, who always stands on the boundary between war and wisdom. An anomalous dimension opens where the boundary between mythologies and gods from other spaces are forced to face each other. As if led by an ancient prophecy about the war of the gods, the battle will decide who is worthy of bearing the title of the ultimate Lord of War. In that context, Ares actively challenges Thor not only because of the desire for domination, but also because of deep jealousy regarding the reputation of the god of thunder, who is honored as the model of a heroic warrior. To Ares, pure, chaotic, and unbound war is the supreme power rising above all discipline and morality that Thor represents. They meet on an ancient battlefield, the desolate Mount Olympus, where ruined stone columns still echo the memories of countless conquests. Thor strikes first, swinging Mjolnir to call down fierce lightning bolts, creating a furious storm that makes heaven and earth shake. Thunder and lightning tear through space, and the ground cracks under the pressure of divine power. Ares does not step back. He manipulates the nature of war, provoking the primal anger in Thor, while using his sword to slash apart the lightning bolts and rushing into close combat. Illusions of endless armies appear surrounding and distracting the concentration of the god of thunder. The battle quickly becomes balanced and fierce. Thor uses overwhelming physical strength to shatter the shield of Ares, while Ares exploits the pride and moments of hesitation of his opponent to counterattack into rare weak points. The divine blood of both falls onto the battlefield, causing the ground of Olympus to crack as if unable to bear the weight of two colliding destinies. Ares gradually gains the upper hand as he summons power accumulated from great wars in history, from ancient bloodbaths to massacres that shook the human world. That power pushes Thor into a defensive position. Mjolnir is knocked out of his hand, and the god of thunder bears heavy wounds. In the moment near defeat, Thor recalls the words Odin once taught about power born from courage, responsibility, and justice. He stands up, summoning all the lightning of the sky, and goes far beyond that, creating a storm of cosmic scale. Mjolnir returns to the hand of its master, shattering all illusions and weapons that Ares conjured. In the decisive blow, Ares pours all his strength, aiming to pierce the heart of Thor, but the strike is blocked. Thor counterattacks with a frontal lightning blast, striking directly into the essence of war, causing Ares to be electrocuted and exhausted. Ares lies collapsed on the broken stone floor, admitting the power of the god of thunder and swearing to return when war rises once again. The battle ends in silence, but Thor does not finish off his opponent. Thor leaves the battlefield carrying the lesson that the greatest power lies not in chaos, but in the ability to control and the mercy of a true hero. Thor is the winner. What do you think about this battle? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you all very much.